Crane, as a bond salesman, you're a great hackbag. This is an age of egotism, I know, but you're one of the most conceited fellas I've ever met.
I'm not conceited, Petey. I just know I'm good.
Well, as long as you've been in my company, you've proven that to nobody but yourself. You've done nothing but run around with a lot of married women, talk football at the university club. You haven't made a single sale, and you give no indications of ever making a sale. You refuse to follow out instructions or take my orders. We've been very lenient with you, and, well, I'm sick and tired of it.
Please, Mr. Ward, my nerves.
Go to the cashier and get your... I'm sorry. Guess I was a little hasty. Hey, Jim?
It's all right, Peter. I won't hold that against you. Anybody's liable to lose their temper now and then.
6,000. Not bad. Not bad at all. What'd you sell her, those gold notes?
Yep. It was like taking candy from a baby. Peter, I could have sold that dame the public library.
Where'd you meet this woman?
On one of your parties. She was one of them dames that fell for me plenty.
You're not going to do so bad in this game, Jim. You were just a little bit slow getting started.
Peter, I'm going to sell more stuff than your whole crew put together. I just got hep to myself yesterday, you see. Women is my dish. They go for me. They seem to trust me.
That's right. I've noticed that.
And so, I'm not going to play the men anymore. I'm going to concentrate on the women because I can sell them anything, Peter. Anything.
Jim, I've got the nicest, neatest, sweetest little proposition for you in the world. It's surefire. You can't lose.
Yeah? Shoot.
It's the type of security that women will buy like hotcakes. I'm going to set you up in business for yourself to handle this security exclusively.
Yeah? Well, now that's not hard to take.
Now, you see, Jim, according to state laws, I can't pay you more than 10% commission as long as you're working for me. But if you're in business for yourself, then I can pay you, well, I'll pay you 30% on any sales you make of this particular security.
Oh, boy. How much are yachts worth?
You let me manage this, do as I say, and you will be buying a couple of yachts before long.
Peter, I'm with you till the cows come home. You know, Pete, I always figured that a guy with my personality shouldn't be working for anybody else. That he should be in business for himself.
Right.
Say, what is this security?
Marvelous stuff, Jim. It's the kind of security that the women can't resist. You can promise them double their money in 6 months.
Yeah, I know, but what's it called?
Consolidated Emerald.
It's legitimate and on the level?
Sure, it's marvelous stuff, Jim. Don't be silly.
Consolidated Emerald, eh? Well, Pete, if you say it's okay, I'll go for it.
Jim, drop in around 1 o'clock. We'll have lunch and get all the details set.
Okay, Peter, old boy. Bye-bye. And so I tells him just what was wrong with the way he was running his business.
You didn't.
Say, you should have heard me. I knocked him right off his pins. And when I get all through, I made such an impression on him. Well, he's putting me up in business for myself.
Really?
Sure. I told him I was too smart, too much personality to be working for some other guy, and he yesed me plenty.
Oh, I'm delighted for you, Jim.
Thanks, kid. You know, May, you're an awful sweet girl. I'm beginning to like you a lot.
Well, Jim,
And listen, if you ever get tired of this joint, just let me know and I'll give you a job in my organization. That's me all over, just a big-hearted lad. Well, so long, May. I'll see you in my dreams.
Do you want the check now, Jim?
Oh, any time will do. But as long as you have it now, I might as well take it. You know it's a very dangerous thing for a beautiful woman like you to be carrying so much money around with her.
You're a base flatterer.
Well, now that that's settled, Mrs. Davis, I mean Gertrude, you've made the neatest, sweetest little investment in the world. I'm going to double your money for you in a month.
Oh, Jim, you inspire me with such confidence. Let's you and I go to some nice, quiet, cozy little place and have lunch. There are so many things I want your advice about.
I'd like to go to lunch with you, Gertrude, but I can't. I've got a big conference on in just a few minutes with a bunch of bankers, and it's going to keep me tied up all afternoon.
Can't you go to lunch with me? Really?
I'd love to. I'll call you real soon. I'll give you a buzz the first part of the week, sure.
Well, I guess I might as well be going.
Okay.
I tell you, I'm busy, Doris. I haven't time to discuss it now.
Ah, Peter, don't be such an old grouch. It won't take me a second to tell you. You see, the necklace is of the choker type. Very simple, but terribly rich-looking. A string of perfectly matched pearls, without a flaw.
How much?
And the clasp. You should see the clasp. It's a heart-shaped pattern with a cluster of small diamonds.
How much is it, Doris? That's the only thing that interests me.
Well, considering the value, I think it's very reasonable. It's only $20,000.
Save your breath. Why, that's outrageous.
Why, Peter, I don't see how you can say that when you haven't even seen the necklace.
I don't care. I simply haven't got that much money lying around loose. And if I did have it, I wouldn't throw it away on jewelry.
Ah, Peter, darling.
Will you get out of here, Doris? I'm busy.
There, that's finished.
Base, there's the best $5,000 you've ever invested. Consolidated Emerald will double your money for you in a month.
Well, if you say so, Jimmy, I'm convinced. I trust you implicitly.
Well, that's great, because I sure like you, Grace.
Jimmy, don't you suppose we could go to some nice, quiet, cozy little place and have lunch? There's so many things I want your advice about.
I'd like to go to lunch with you, Grace, but I can't. I've got a big conference on in just a few minutes with a bunch of bankers, and it's going to keep me tied up all afternoon.
Oh, Jimmy, please do come and have just a bite of lunch. Please.
I'd love to, but I'll call you real soon. I tell you, I'll give you a buzz the first part of the week, sure.
Well, I guess I'd better be going.
Okay.
Oh, you make me sick.
Not half as sick as you make me.
Good morning, Jim.
How do you do, Mrs. Ward?
Oh, I have something to tell you.
I'll be with you in a few minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Peter.
Hello, Jim.
Told you it'd make good, didn't I?
You sure did. 5,000,
Great game, isn't it?
and I'm proud of you.
Say, listen. I know a lot more women I haven't even started to work on yet. Wait till I get going.
All right, boy. Keep it up. And, Jim, let me know as soon as those clear, and I'll give you your commission.
Okay, Pete. Don't take any Canadian labels. May, I done $10,000 worth of business this morning. Boy, there's a big bull market on Consolidated Emerald.
Oh, that's great, Jim.
Well, it isn't a bad morning's work for me. Now I can relax and go to lunch.
I'm going to lunch now, too.
Don't eat too much.
Jim, I know the cutest little French restaurant.
Yeah? Give me the address and I'll try it sometime. I'm a bug on eating at trick places. So long, May. I'll be seeing you.
Why do you play the king when you know the ace hasn't been played?
Oh, did I play the king? I'm awfully sorry.
If you'd keep your mind on the game, you'd know what's been played and what hasn't.
Pardon me. Miss Ellis is here to see you, sir.
Oh, very well, thank you. Game and rub a few people.
You certainly beat us that time, didn't you?
Oh, it was pretty close, considering.
If you will all excuse me a minute, I have a little business to attend to.
Why business over the weekend?
Because I enjoy paying your bridge debts. It's awfully good of you, Miss Ellis, to come here tonight. I hated to bother you, but there were a few things that needed to be taken care of immediately.
I'm happy to, Mr. Ward.
Miss Ellis, you're the perfect secretary. I hope you know how much I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good idea. I feel just like an ice cream soda.
Listen, folks, wouldn't you like to go to a movie?
Let's all go. Come on, let's go.
Come on, Jim. Go then.
Aren't you coming? Oh, no, I have a bit of a headache.
Oh, come on, Doris.
No, run along.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Oh, Jim, I almost forgot to tell you. Peter wants to see you about some bonds or something.
Well, that looks like I can't go. The boss wants my advice on a big conference.
Oh, come on.
Come along with us.
I'm sorry. Business before pleasure, always. Well, see you in the funny papers.
Honey,
Bye-bye. Say, where's Pete? I better find him and see what he wants.
silly boy. Pete doesn't want to see you. I just want you alone here with me.
Yeah? Say, what's the idea?
Those two horrid women have had you to themselves ever since this party began. I haven't had a chance to have a chat with you alone.
Say, you're sure you don't want to go down to the village with the folks and see the movies?
Of course not. I'm going to take you out in the garden.
Huh?
The moon is simply gorgeous. Come on.
In case of any trouble at all, this poor sap will be the only one left holding the bag.
He's such an old grouch. The man has no finer sensibility. He doesn't seem to understand me.
Yeah? Gee, that sure is tough. That's too bad. Say, don't you think we better go in the house?
You know, I'm very affectionate naturally. And I haven't had any real romance since I've been married.
Our short-term gold notes are turning out to be an admirable investment. Miss Ellis, will you do me a favor? Go out in the garden and tell Mrs. Ward that I want to speak to her. Bring her back here.
Certainly, Mr. Ward.
Gee, aren't you kind of chilly? Do you think we better go in?
Ah, don't be like that. Don't you think you could learn to care for me just a little bit?
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, life could be such a wonderful adventure. If only...
Pardon me, Mrs. Ward. Mr. Ward would like to see you in the library.
Very well, Miss Ellis. I'll see you later. Did you want to see me, dear?
Miss Ellis, we won't do any more work this evening. Please find Crane And tell him that I'd like to speak to him here in about 15 minutes.
Yes, Mr. Ward.
Well, what did you want to see me about?
Well, what have you got to say for yourself?
What are you talking about?
Don't pull that innocent stuff. We've been married 15 years. I know you too well.
Oh, Peter, you wouldn't be happy unless you found something to bawl me out about a couple of times every day, would you?
What do you expect me to do? Compliment you for running around after that Crane boy? Throwing yourself at him? Making me ridiculous in the eyes of our guests?
How dare you insult me by making such a ridiculous statement?
If the truth is an insult, all the worse for you. No, you don't. You're going to stay right here until we get this matter threshed out.
I hate you.
That's got nothing to do with the case. What I want to know is this. What's the idea of you and Crane doing a Romeo and Juliet in my house, under my very nose?
Oh, Peter, don't be ridiculous. Don't make a fool of yourself.
Oh, so that's your attitude, eh? Well, I'll fix you. And I'll make it hot for him. I'll pull the cork, and your little boyfriend land in Sing Sing.
Sing Sing? What are you talking about? What has Jim Crane done that you could send him to prison?
Oh, yes? Well, you'll soon find out. He'll have a lot to explain.
Oh, as usual, you're trying to scare me with some of your childish prattle.
Come in.
Jim,
Hello, May. Come on in.
I've been hearing things about you, Jim.
Is Mrs. Ward mixed up in it?
No.
Oh.
It's about that consolidated emerald stock you've been selling.
What do you mean?
Ward's been making an awful fool of you, Jim.
Huh?
That stock is no good. You could get into an awful jam with the government for selling it.
Oh, May, you must be wrong. Why, I'm perfect. I couldn't go wrong that way.
But Mr. Ward has been deliberately deceiving you. I know the stock is no good.
Well, I don't believe it.
Here's a letter to the manager of the San Francisco office. Mr. Ward just dictated it. Dear Joe, I've had a stroke of good luck. We found someone able to sell that consolidated emerald stock. This party is so stupid, he thinks he's tied up with a legitimate proposition. In case of trouble, this poor sap will be the only one left holding the bag.
That's enough, May. That's plenty. I believe it. Gosh, May, what am I going to do? I just sold $10,000 worth of that stock.
Buy it back. And buy it back quickly, or you'll go to jail.
Yeah, but what am I going to use for money? I've only got $300 or $400 to my name. May, I'm going out and get bored, and I'm going to bust him right in the nose. The dirty rat, I'm going to kick his head off.
No, Jim, don't do that. It will only make matters worse for us.
That's right.
Jim, our problem is to find a way to get the stock back.
Gee, May, you're an awful sweet girl. I never realized before how much I liked you.
I like you too, Jim. But what about the stock?
Gee, I don't know. I never was very good at riddles. But boy, I sure could play football. Couldn't I, May?
You sure could, Jim.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You're old enough to be his mother.
You brute. You liar.
Oh, he's only amusing himself with you. He can't possibly care anything about you.
Oh, he can't, eh? Just because I'm not charming to you any longer is no sign that all men are blind. Not only that, but I haven't been flirting with him. Not nearly so much as Gertrude and Grace have done.
You needn't make a fool of yourself just because your friends do.
And let me tell you something else. If you don't stop being so insanely jealous, and if you don't stop bawling me out, and if you don't stop making these ridiculous statements, I'll show you whether he cares about me or not. I'll give you some real reason to be jealous.
Be your age, Doris.
You beast.
Now, wait a minute.
Oh, go to. Oh, Jim.
Gee, May, I don't know what to do. I ought to catch the next cattle boat for Europe.
Don't be silly, Jim. We'll find some way.
You know, I should have known that this bond business wasn't my racket. I should have taken that job as coach for the Tennessee Baptist College.
Oh, hello, Jim. I've been looking all over for you. I thought perhaps I might find you up here.
I looked all over for him, too, Mrs. Ward, to deliver your husband's message.
Oh, thank you, Miss Ellis. I have something private to discuss with Mr. Crane. Will you excuse us for a moment?
Surely.
Oh, Miss Ellis. Would you mind waiting in the next room? I have some letters I want to dictate in just a few minutes.
Yes, Mr. Crane.
I'll get rid of her as soon as I can.
Oh, Jim. Something terrible has happened. My husband suspects us.
Yeah? Well, that sure is tough.
Come on, let's have a drink.
You know, that's what makes me so furious. Being falsely accused. I told him I'd give him some real reason for being jealous. The beast.
Yeah, well, now that's a slick idea.
And it wouldn't take very much to make me do it either. I'm so angry with him. I'm so fond of him.
We'd better go downstairs.
Ah, Jim. I am fond of him. Don't you know that I'd do anything in the world for him?
You know, Doris, I like you a lot, too. But
Oh, Jimmy, what's the matter? What seems to be worrying you?
well, I'll tell you. I'm a kind of a funny fella. I always figured that a man should be worthy of a girl before he had the right to fall in love with her.
Well, what has that to do with you and me, silly boy?
Oh, don't you see, Doris? I'm not worthy of her. No, I'm serious. I don't amount to anything, and I'm a failure in business.
A failure in business? Why, I thought you were getting along so beautifully.
Yeah, like fun I am. I'm all set to lose a bonus and a big bunch of money just because I couldn't sell some of that consolidated emerald stock that I underwrote, and it'll ruin me.
Well, now tell me, how much do you have to sell to get your bonus and come out with a profit?
Something like the national debt, about $20,000. More money than I could raise the rest of my life. And tomorrow's the deadline.
Is that all that's worrying you?
Well, gee, Doris, isn't that enough? A man flopping on his first big opportunity? And probably my last.
Tell me, where is Mrs. Ward?
She said something about having a headache, sir. She's probably upstairs.
Thank you.
Jim, I told you that I was fond of you, and now I'm going to prove it. I'm going to see that you sell that $20,000 worth of stock.
Oh, Doris, you're a peach, but that's impossible. It's too much money, and besides, you haven't time to see people.
But I don't have to see any people, because I'm going to buy the stocks myself.
Oh, Doris, I couldn't possibly let you do anything like that.
But I insist. Nothing in the world would give me greater pleasure.
Nope.
Oh, but I love you. Don't you know? Please don't refuse me.
Well, if you insist, okay.
Now do you believe I love you?
Doris. Is that you, Doris? Open the door. Doris, what are you doing in that man's room?
Get me out of here.
Doris, do you hear me? I want that door open. It won't do you any good to slip out or into another room. I heard you in there with him. Doris, open that door before I break it down.
I thought you were a gentleman.
I beg your pardon.
I ought to bust you right in the nose.
Miss Ellis, was it your voice I heard in the hallway?
Yes, Mr. Ward.
Listen, Miss Ellis and I are engaged to be married. And furthermore, you're flirting with an undertaker when you come bouncing in this room when we're talking over private matters.
Doris, my dear.
Peter, I want to see you downstairs immediately.
Oh, but darling, I can explain everything. Please overlook what's happened, everybody, and please go right on enjoying yourselves. What do you think of that?
Great game, wasn't it?
Gee, May, I don't know how to thank you for this. Honest to gosh, I don't. I feel it here plenty. But I ain't got the oratory to tell you.
Never mind. I understand.
Say, May, I've been an awful sap. No wonder some woodpecker hasn't tapped out a subdivision on my block.
Well, you have been a tiny bit conceited.
Tiny. Yes, tiny like the Pacific Ocean. But I'm on to myself now, May. Honest I am. And I'm going out and get a man's job.
Good for you,
My
Jim.
darling, it was such a natural mistake.
I'll never speak to you again. I'll never have anything to do with you again as long as I live. The very idea of suspecting me of having been in his room.
But my darling, please forgive me. I'll give you anything you want. I'll buy you that pearl necklace. I'll make you out a check for $20,000 this minute.
Oh, the necklace is probably gone by now.
Well, you can buy yourself another necklace or do anything with the $20,000 that you want. Do you forgive me?
Oh, I suppose so. Will you write me out the check now?
Yes, my love.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, dear. Were you golfing this morning, too?
Yes, with Jim.
Not with Jim. He promised to play with me this morning.
Why, there must be some mistake. He distinctly promised to play with me.
Will you have coffee, madam?
Please.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Good news?
Yes. Jim was sweet enough to make a very excellent investment for me.
Oh, really?
He made an adorable investment for me, too.
Well, you'd be surprised if you knew what he did for me.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
Was that a stock certificate you were looking at, my dear?
Yes, dear. I made a little investment last night.
Oh, is that what you did with the check I gave you last night, darling?
Mm-hmm. I decided I had enough jewelry and, oh, that necklace was rather vulgar. Anyway, no one's wearing those big flashy things anymore.
Yes, but what did you do with the money, dear?
I told you I made an investment. I bought some stock.
Yes, I know. But what stock?
200 shares of Consolidated Emerald. Love.
Oh, Mom.
Ball player.
Has Mr. Crane come downstairs yet?
Mr. Crane breakfasted very early, sir, and left the house at once.
Left the house, Pearson? What do you mean, left the house?
Mr. Crane and Miss Ellis, madam. They mentioned something about getting married and going out west.
There goes the only secretary I ever had who knew how to spell.
Will you all have a dry cereal or a hot mush? I'll have grape nuts, please.